Earlier today we saw Robert Milkins and Mark King become the first two players to be knocked out of this year's Championship League as the bottom two players in the group. Milkins only won one of his matches. It was his first match, in fact, and then he lost 5 in a row. King got off to a flying start. He was top of the group overnight with 3 wins out of 3, the only unbeaten player. And then lost all 3 of his matches today, and that was that. Really got so much action on those reds. Black tied up at the moment. Pink in an awkward spot, but he can keep this going off the blue for a little while. This is the 89th group of the Championship League since we started back in 2008. And in the previous 88 finals, 32 of them, so not that far short of half, have been between the players who finished first and second in the round-robin table.
22.
A slight majority of those have been won by the player who finished first, 18 to 14. So this is another one in that series.
$28. $29.
That win over Lisowski yesterday morning was part of a mixed opening day for Robertson in this group. He then went on to lose his next match 3-2 against Anthony Hamilton, despite making his 600th career century during that match. Only the 4th player ever to reach that landmark. He did respond by beating his namesake Jimmy Robertson, but then lost to Ricky Walden in his next match. First thing this morning. Won a fairly scrappy match against Mark King, 3-0, and then played really well against Robert Milkins, winning that one 3-1. That match against Milkins was a bit of a dead rubber, really. Robertson was through, Milkins was out, so they both really just went for their shots. And Robertson made a succession of decent-sized breaks. It was just the perfect way to tune up for the knockout stage of the group. He's carried a lot of that form into tonight.
$39. $40. $45. $46.
Well, when they met in the Riga Masters final at the start of the season, Robertson controlled the early stages and Lisowski couldn't really catch up from there. By the time he had settled into the match,
51.
it was slipping away from him. That was a best of 9, so there was a bit more time to recover. You really can't afford to fall too far behind in a best of 5. And if Robertson does open a 2-0 lead here, Lisowski will find himself on the back foot in this final, just as he did in that one in Latvia.
$52.
What an effort it's been to get this far. The pink and the black where they are. And fantastic long-range cue ball control over big distances to even get this close to winning a frame in a situation like that. He's potentially only 2 balls away here from clinching a 2-0 lead. But the ball he has to pot to leave Lisowski at the snooker's required stage is going to be a tough one. It didn't look very tough the way he played it. That was an excellent shot. Two snookers required already. Now it's 3 snookers to tie.
63.
Well, that settles the issue now, beyond any doubt. Now it's all about whether or not Robertson can make yet another century.
7. 71.
What a showcase of Robertson's break-building talents this has been. Didn't look that promising a position when he came to the table. But this has been an absolute masterclass. Black was tied up. Pink was very awkward at least.
83. 85. 88.
If he takes the lot, it'll be a 110 total clearance. How often do you hear that? But the fact that it's such a low number for a total clearance actually just reflects how good it's been, because he hasn't had pink and black available to him for so much of it. What a great effort from Neil Robertson. One of the best breaks he's ever made. And in the end, a totally different frame to the first one. That came down to a scrap on the colours. This one has been settled in a single visit. A total clearance of 110. He's actually laughing at it himself. I don't think I've ever seen a total clearance as low as that. But what a break it was. And it puts Neil Robertson on the brink in this group final. He leads by 2 frames to 0. Well, he's going to be feeling very good after that. He loves setting these little challenges for himself, loves doing things that are a bit quirky and a bit different to what you might normally see. And he'll have relished the challenge of trying to sustain that break the way he did. But Jack Lisowski, just as he did in the final against Robertson in Riga, finds himself having to really turn it around. He wasn't able to do it then. It's less of a challenge now,
Third frame. Neil Robertson's frame.
because it's best of 5, but he still needs to win all 3 frames. And that is not the way to start that quest. Lisowski, though, has been closer to defeat than this a couple of times already in this group. Against both Robert Milkins and Ricky Walden, he was 2-0 down and a ball away from 3-0 defeat, but both times he came back to win 3-2. It wasn't a certainty that pot Robertson took on, but still would have expected him to get it. Lisowski finds himself straight back to the table, and in with a good early chance in this 3rd frame.
9. 40.
It's worth pointing out that whoever does win this match will have a bit of history to book in the winners group, because in the 11 previous years, the player who's won the first group has never gone on to win the Championship League itself.
22.
Certainly got plenty of action on the cue ball, but none of it involved moving any reds. So that good early chance looks to be gone already.
That was out of 22.
And speaking of Championship League history, Neil Robertson's isn't great, you know. Of all the players in the Championship League this year, only 3 of them have played in it every year. He's one of them, and he's only been in the winners group twice. When you consider his overall record in tournament snooker during the era this Championship League has been going on, that's quite surprising.
Yeah.
Well, look at the action he's got on that. Had a bit of work to do with that plant. There was a bit of distance between the balls. Did well to get back for the blue,
6.
and now he's dropped it in. He's in prime scoring position here. Lisowski must be starting to fear the worst already.
7. $40. 15. 22. 23. 28. 29.
Neil Robertson had all sorts of objectives coming here. Among them was to get himself in shape for the Masters, which is coming up less than 2 weeks' time now.
37.
If he does win the group, then doing so, and particularly in the style that he has, playing some really good stuff along the way, is going to be just what he had in mind. The style that he has, playing some really good stuff along the way, is going to be just what he had in mind in his preparations for Alexandra Palace, where he plays the reigning world champion Mark Williams in the first round 2 weeks from today.
50.
So it looks as though Robertson is going to extend his career record against Lisowski to 5 wins out of 5, including 4 times this season. Lisowski will take £4,200 from his efforts in his first ever Championship League group. Robertson is going to pocket £6,400 plus another £500 for that 139 which he made against Anthony Hamilton, the highest break of the group.
66.
All providing, of course, that he could get across the line in this frame. And effectively, he just has 45 in front, 43 left. Blue to follow. Lisowski will be back here tomorrow to start again in Group 2. He'll be joined by Ricky Walden and Anthony Hamilton, the 2 beaten semi-finalists in this group.
72.
Jimmy Robertson as well, who finished 5th. And 3 new players coming in. Kyron Wilson, Luca Brissell, the Championship League maximum man last season, and the king of the Championship League, Judd Trump, the only 3-time winner in the tournament's history. Robertson, though, will head for Barnsley
80.
in March, and only his 3rd appearance in the winners' group in 12 attempts. And every chance now that he's going to finish with back-to-back centuries.
88.
Lisowski will rue that pink he missed on 49 in the opening frame. And the shot he played when he tried to get between the pink and black to hit the green at the business end of that frame, and ended up hitting both pink and black. He's had his chances in this match.
93.
He had one at the start of this frame and only made 22 from it. But he'll be among the men to beat in Group 2 on the basis of the way he's played. After a poor start to this group,
97.
he's shown some good stuff. He just would have liked to have shown a bit more of it in the final. And it's a final that Neil Robertson is finishing now in real style. Back-to-back centuries. A remarkable 110 total clearance in the second frame. And he finishes off